At 0923 hours on June 14, 2025, the USS Princeton was conducting a routine freedom of navigation patrol in the South China Sea when its spy radar detected something that could have nearly started a war. A Chinese Type 052D destroyer, which had been loitering 200 kilometers away, suddenly accelerated from 18 to 30 knots in under 90 seconds. Unknown to the Americans, the Jianchong S captain had just received orders from Beijing to intercept the Americans and make them blink first. But Beijing was about to discover why challenging the U.S. Navy in open water remains a poor idea. The Nimitz carrier strike group had been performing what American sailors have done for 75 years, keeping key sea lanes open so Chinese factories could export electronics. They were 180 nautical miles from the nearest Chinese territory in international waters, where $3.4 trillion in annual trade flows moved reliably. The strike group's mission was standard freedom of navigation, predictable course, transparent intentions, and professional conduct that separates real navies from floating militias. By 0926, the radar operators had positively identified the Type 052D destroyer of the Chinese Navy, assigning a threat assessment of moderate to high. Inside the Princeton's Combat Information Center, the tactical action officer monitored the destroyer's vector calmly, aware that 122 vertical launch cells could neutralize any Chinese ship. The spy radar provided an extremely detailed picture of the enemy ship. At its current speed, it would reach weapons engagement range in 17 minutes. The math was simple but alarming for the Chinese. Their YJ-18 anti-ship missiles could cover the distance in under 4 minutes once launched, but the Princeton's SM-6 missiles in surface mode could reach about 240 nautical miles, neutralizing the threat. At 0929, the captain assessed the probable intent of the Chinese ship. At its current speed and heading, it would be within weapons release range in 14 minutes. The recommendation was to go to general quarters. The captain chose instead to wait and observe, confident in American capabilities. The South China Sea was crowded with merchant traffic, 46 commercial vessels within 50 miles, all relying on the U.S. Navy to ensure safe passage. A Singapore-flagged container ship carrying semiconductors and a South Korean LNG tanker worth $200 million were among those at risk if Beijing tried to dominate international waters. But that would require defeating the U.S. Navy, which has never happened. At 0930, the Princeton's cooperative engagement capability shared threat data across the strike group. The Nimitz, a 104,600-ton carrier with 90 advanced aircraft, adjusted flight operations precisely. The destroyers Junghun and Kidd shifted positions to protect the carrier, ensuring any Chinese attack would fail. By 0935, the tactical picture escalated from concerning to dangerous. The E-2D Hawkeye orbited at 25,000 feet, monitoring the situation. Providing a god's eye view of everything within 400 meters, multiple aircraft were detected launching from the Chinese carrier Shandong. The radar signatures matched J-15 fighters climbing hard and heading south as if they stood a chance. The air controllers immediately noticed something. The J-15s were struggling to gain altitude, likely limited by fuel due to the ski jump launch system the Chinese relied on. A minute later, the sonar operators added another piece of the puzzle, a possible submerged contact 80 nautical miles away, with an acoustic signature consistent with a Type 039 diesel-electric submarine. The submarine was making noise like a freight train. Any competent crew would have been mortified. The Chinese were orchestrating a multi-domain intimidation campaign with outdated equipment. Surface ships from the 1990s, carrier aircraft unable to carry a full weapons load, and submarines so loud they practically broadcasted their position. It was textbook bullying, only effective if the target was too weak or scared to fight back. Unfortunately for Beijing, they had challenged the wrong navy in the wrong ocean. The U.S. Navy had been perfecting blue water dominance since 1914, and these forces were about to learn why the American Navy reigned supreme. By 0937, the USS Nimitz flight deck erupted into controlled chaos, mastered only by American carriers. FA-18E Super Hornets from VFA-14 top hatters launched from catapults at 45-second intervals. a precision ballet that ski-jump carriers could only dream of matching. Steam billowed from the catapults as American naval aviation projected power. The 1st Division of Super Hornets climbed through 15,000 feet. Their ANA PG-79 radars already painting the incoming J-15s at maximum range. The technological mismatch was stark. The PG-79 transmit-receive modules could track dozens of targets simultaneously, while the J-15's mechanically scanned radars swept like a lighthouse broadcasting its position. The J-15s were struggling for altitude, a reminder of the Shandong ski jump limitations. Without catapults, they launched with reduced fuel and weapons loads. They climbed hard to gain energy advantage, burning fuel faster. American fighters, by contrast, launched at full combat weight, had fuel to spare, and carried full weapons loads. The advantage went beyond what the Chinese could see. Every F-18 was connected via Link 16, sharing sensor data in real time. When one aircraft detected something, all saw it. Chinese pilots relied on voice commands and individual sensors, like fighting a network team while blindfolded. The technological gap was measured in decades. E-18G Growlers entered without firing. These electronic warfare variants carried Alki-99 jamming pods capable of disrupting enemy electronics from 100 miles away. As they established jamming orbits, Chinese communications began to fragment. Ghost contacts multiplied on their radar screens. American fighters appeared and disappeared, multiplied and merged. 4 F-18s seemed like 12, then 20. Radar locks broke and reformed. J-15 pilots found themselves fighting phantoms while real threats maneuvered unseen. The Americans executed a tactical spread called the Wall, a defensive formation perfected over decades, high at 35,000 feet, medium at 25,000, low at 15,000, creating overlapping engagement zones with mutual support. There was nowhere for the Chinese to go without entering a weapons envelope. The Chinese formation, by contrast, remained bunched, necessary when data links can't support distributed operations. They had to maintain visual contact. In the vast expanse of the open ocean, where horizons stretch endlessly, a silent, high-stakes drama is unfolding. A U.S. Navy Arleigh Burke-class destroyer, a steel titan bristling with advanced technology, cuts through the waves on a routine freedom of navigation operation. Its mission is clear, to uphold international law and ensure the seas remain open for all. But today, the calm is about to be tested. On the radar, a new contact appears, fast and determined. It's a Chinese planned destroyer emerging from the haze, its sleek, modern lines a testament to a rapidly growing naval power. The two warships are now on a converging course. On the American bridge, the atmosphere is tense but professional. Every sailor is at their station, a picture of calm focus. The captain observes the approaching vessel, his voice steady as he gives orders. The Chinese ship hails them, its voice crackling over the radio, issuing a stern warning to leave what they claim are their territorial waters. The American captain's response is firm and unwavering. He calmly cites international maritime law, restating their right to be in these waters. It's a battle of wills, fought not with missiles, but with words and calculated maneuvers. The two destroyers sail parallel to each other, a stone's throw apart in naval terms. Every movement is a message, every turn of the rudder a statement. The American crew, leveraging their superior training and cutting-edge sensor suites, maintains a comprehensive picture of the situation. They track every variable, from the other ship's speed to its weapon system status, ensuring they are always a step ahead, ready to react to any escalation. This is the reality of modern naval deterrence. It's not just about firepower. It's about professionalism, discipline, and the quiet confidence that comes from technological superiority. As the hours pass, the tension slowly subsides. The Chinese destroyer eventually alters course, peeling away and disappearing back into the horizon. The American warship continues its mission, a silent guardian of the maritime commons. This encounter, unseen by most of the world, is a powerful reminder of the skill and dedication of the sailors who stand the watch day and night, ensuring stability in a complex world. Their courage and expertise are the bedrock of peace on the high seas. Thanks for watching. If you found this glimpse into the modern Navy fascinating, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more stories from the front lines of global security. See you next time. Discipline held. The moment passed, but the Chinese still had one card to play. Their escalation peaked when the submarine made its move. The Type 039 diesel-electric boat had been creeping closer, using layered depth to mask its approach. At 0951, it made a critical error, raising its snorkel to recharge batteries. Teo sonar, subsurface contact bearing 159, range 15,000 yards. Contact is snorkeling. Classified as probable. Type 039, making noise like a freight train. The submarine captain either did not know or did not care that the Princeton SSQ-89 sonar suite had been tracking him for the past hour. The ship had his acoustic signature catalogued, his position fixed to within meters. If this went kinetic, he would have about 12 seconds to consider his life choices before an ASROC turned his boat into fish food. The tactical picture was a textbook example of poor naval operations. Chinese forces had boxed themselves in, carrier to the northwest, destroyer to the west, submarine to the southwest. If shooting started, none would survive the first 5 minutes. The Americans were about to demonstrate exactly how that would unfold. At 14:30 hours, the USS Nimitz launched everything that could fly. 48 aircraft roared off her deck in the largest single-carrier display of air power in years. Super Hornets loaded with live weapons. EA-18G Growlers carrying electronic warfare packages capable of blacking out a city, and E-2D Hawkeyes commanding the electronic high ground. The afternoon sky darkened with American aircraft. The Growlers went to work first. Their ALQ-99 pods, operating at full power, turned Chinese radar screens into abstract chaos. False contacts appeared by the hundreds, while real aircraft vanished into electronic noise. The Shandong's air defense picture looked as if someone had thrown paint at the screens. Chinese controllers could not distinguish real threats from ghosts. Everything appeared dangerous. Then came the submarine, a Virginia-class attack submarine that had shadowed the Chinese formation for 8 days silent, invisible and patient. At 15:47, it surfaced 6 nautical miles from the Shandong, close enough for Chinese lookouts to see a black silhouette with the naked eye. The psychological impact was devastating. 8 days of undetected operations had bypassed their entire anti-submarine screen, including helicopters, sonobuoys, and hull-mounted sonar. If this had been war, the carrier would already be destroyed. The submarine's commanding officer ordered an emergency surface purely for effect. The vessel burst from the water like a breaching whale, water cascading off its hull in the afternoon sun. Photographers on Chinese ships would have had perfect shots of American dominance. After about 90 seconds, long enough to be seen, photographed, and reported, it slipped beneath the waves. The message was clear: we control the undersea domain. In the air, American fighters demonstrated ACM air combat maneuvering against increasingly desperate Chinese pilots. The J-15s, already low on fuel from ski jump launches and the hard climb to altitude, could not match the Americans' turn for turn. Each engagement ended the same way: American fighters in firing position, Chinese fighters defensive and burning fuel. One by one, Chinese aircraft peeled off, returning to the Shandong with near-empty tanks. Their combat endurance had been exhausted in fruitless attempts to match American capabilities. Some likely saw the bingo fuel light they had only encountered in simulators. By 1623, the Shandong's carrier strike group began withdrawal. Official Chinese communications cited completion of scheduled exercises, but everyone knew the truth. They had intended to demonstrate Chinese naval power, intimidate lawful navigation, and claim waters that did not belong to them. Instead, they had learned why the South China Sea is effectively America's 6th Great Lake.